Okay, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Hi, okay. So this evening we have Kak Ardian and Kak Julie. Hi, Kak Ardian, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Good, I'm good, thank you. Hi, Kak Julie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for
Okay,
asking.
so this evening we are going to talk about self-development. This is something that really intriguing, really interesting topic to talk about. So first of all, I'd like to ask the both of you, to Kak Julie and Kak Ardian, when you hear the word self-development, what comes to your mind? Maybe Kak Julie can answer first.
Okay, sure. What comes in my mind when I hear when I hear self-development start to improvement, where I can see myself evolving, changing to be the better version of myself in most contexts of life, especially the better personalities, better qualities, and better human being.
I see. So the progress for being a better person from time to time.
Indeed.
I see. Okay. What about you, Kak Ardian?
Okay, in my opinion, it's like a journey, like a process of life, where people wants to be better in their life and want to achieve something bigger and something greater, so they have planned for it. So it's practically like a journey in the life to achieve something bigger, something better.
Okay, beautiful. So it is the life journey. Is it the process to achieve something bigger in the life? Yeah.
Yes. So, Chris,
Yep.
talking about self-development, okay, we essentially talk about personal growth, which of course happens at the individual level, right?
Mhm.
And if we zoom it out a little bit, how do you see the society's contributions to it? What do you think?
Okay. Interesting question, Kak Ardian. Yes, I think the self-development in a personal level and also the society, it has a romantic relationship, a reciprocal relationship. The society or the environment itself often contribute a lot into someone's self-development, in the sense that when someone is living in a positive environment, it is easier for someone, as you say, to walk through the journey of their life, to walk through their goals, to achieve greater things. And also, as I said earlier, it has a reciprocal relationship, that when someone or when an individual gaining or maintaining their self-development from time to time, it also impacting the society. It means that the more people in that society are growing or moving forward to a better trajectory, it means that the society itself also develop.
Okay, it's a nice way to put it. I remember that you said a romantic relationship. Is it correct? It's a unique way to.
Right. Yes, because in a way, these two, the development of the person itself and the development of the society can go hand in hand, like they can go in parallel. So that's why I use that term.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so Ardian, I once read a quote from Neil Donald Walsh, which I have
God.
truly from him.
Really? Right, because sometimes the quote is just like people made up some quote from some,
Yeah.
public figure or something.
I guess yeah, in which he said that life begins at the end of the comfort zone. So, what's your take on this, Ardian?
Okay. So, I think it's. I'm not going to say it as a misleading. It's just a little bit not true from the statement saying that life begins at the end of the comfort zone. As a matter of fact, that life begins when you're born in this world. You're growing up, getting older. Life begins to that point. So we can say that life begins from the beginning of in you are born and in this world or something. I would say that instead of life begins at the end of the comfort zone, it should be like the real life challenge begins at the end of the comfort zone. Even though that you are still in your comfort zone and you're enjoying it, can we call it as a life? We can, right?
Right.
Let's say that you're in your comfort zone and you earn something great from it. Can we call it as a life? We can, because you like it. Even though it's still in your comfort zone. In this case, that when you're trying to get out of it, get out of your comfort zone, and then it means that you're trying to reach a higher point, a bigger achievement in your life. So this statement, which says that life begins at the end of the comfort zone, has a little bit of I'm not going to say a mistake here. It's just not really clear what exactly that it means.
Right.
That's what I.
It looks like it's a little bit too broad, isn't it?
Anyway, out of curiosity, Julie, we are talking about self-development, right? What can you do today that you couldn't do a year ago, or probably like years ago?
Well, I would say that there are a lot of things that I couldn't do last year or even half a year ago, and I could do it now and even better. And some of which are, some of the examples are: one, I could speak better English, especially after I joined Sefeo. I can say that the best community I ever joined so far, okay? Because last year I couldn't even construct a single sentence without struggling, stuttering, or the main hindrance for me to improve my speaking skills. So now I don't really mind about it anymore, because I know that if I keep focusing on the perfect grammar, I wouldn't be able to speak at all, right? So yeah, I can say that one of it is speak better English, and the second one is to speak in public. I know now I could speak in public, like what I'm doing right now. And as you know that I sometimes join a group call like all the time, like almost all the time, almost every night, and I kind of like enjoy that moment. Because I used to avoid and had less confidence when it comes to speaking in public. I didn't used to speak in front of many people in real life, while now I find myself feel more confident, because one of the reason why is perhaps because I could feel the positive impacts even on my real life. Isn't that cool? And next one, I think now I could engage myself with more people. Like what I've mentioned before, I didn't used to mingle with many people. In fact, in real life, I always avoid having myself engage with people. Not because I'm an anti-social person, but more likely to see if there is no benefit I could get from doing it, I would try to not doing it, and would rather just spend times being more productive, or simply just spend it with my kids. So it's pretty much different to what I used to do even half a year ago before I joined Sefeo. So Sefeo is like a big kind of like breakthrough joining Sefeo. It's like changed my life completely, and to become the person that I can say that much better in both personalities and my qualities, I think. And maybe the last but the most important thing is that now I could feel myself more alive and more content.
More alive. Interesting.
More alive and more content as a mom, as an educator, and as a human being myself. For one of which I could say is the chance that God gives me is like an abundance gifts I received since earlier this year, related to both of my passions, that is teaching and things related to English. So both are my passion. I gained both at the same time this year, literally this year.
Wow, good for you, Kak Julie.
Nice.
Like being able to engage with passion every single day can make you feel much more than just being happy, right? But also be more alive. So that's what I could feel now that I couldn't feel it last year.
I see.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah, for me it is interesting also. Even for myself, like when I look back on other days, I was like, what am I doing right now? Am I dreaming? Like this is a long lost dream that I've ever dreamed before, and I kind of like it is unbelievable that I could receive both of my dream. I mean, yeah, two of my biggest dreams so far that I never expected before. But now
Wow.
I've managed
Interesting.
it.
That's a
Yeah,
beautiful story, Kak Julie.
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah, I think so. So, Chris, I think I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
I remember that you mentioned something about reciprocal relationship between self-development and society's progression and support, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think would happen if this sort of relationship failed to bond? And what caused it?
I see. Yeah. Well, I think when it failed to bond, when it didn't happen, it will suppress someone's self-development in a way, and probably it because of the society itself. It's not a safe environment for the individual within the society to walk through their progress and or to walk through their journey of development. And we can see sometimes there is a crop bucket society, right? When you are basically in a society that stops you actually for developing yourself in any way. So that's really toxic society. So when the society stops you from developing, it essentially stopping everyone from moving forward. And at the end of the day, the society itself will just stuck over there and, cannot really moving forward and cannot build a better society, cannot draw a better future for themselves.
Oh, okay. So that's what caused it, right?
Right. And also, when we are talking about the relationship between the society and the individual, we kind of talk about expectation. So, Adrian, talking about expectation, as individuals also set certain expectations or goals for our self-development, so to speak, right? What do you usually do if your reality does not necessarily match the goals that you've set?
Personally, I think I don't really have any problem with this. Like, even though that they don't really match with the goals that I have been setting so far, I think I'm going to see the bright side. Let's say that I have a certain goal, and then I've been trying to achieve it, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, that it just failed. So it just don't work out. It just doesn't work out at all. I have been trying my best to achieve it, and probably it's just not the time yet, I guess. So I think instead of being sad or being frustrated by it, it's always better for me to think what I have now, being grateful for what I have now. I think it's a better thing to do rather than thinking about the endless journey that I'm gonna have ahead of me. Like thinking, what went wrong? Why me failing to reach the goal that I have been setting? I usually thinking about it for a while. Probably just this is not working out well. I usually take time. Always take time for it. I'm going to get back to it later. With a new plan, with a new
okay, interesting. Okay.
With a new me, with the letters, with the new version of me, then probably one day that I can achieve it. Like what people say, that if it's meant for you, then it's meant for you, right? I believe that one day I'm to be at a certain point that I want to right now. So yeah, it's okay, I guess. So it's not a real. It for me personally,
Yeah. Of course, because different people may have different ideas and different way to deal with how to say failure, perhaps, right? When they set the goals and then they didn't achieve that. Okay, thank you, Adian. It's a very beautiful way to put it. Well,
Sure.
okay, Kak Adian and Kak Julie, thank you very much for this evening talk. It's been really great. I hope
Much.
we can have another talk in the future, yeah?
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks so much
Okay.
for
So
Ciao.
much.
taking us
Bye.
down.